and welcome to another episode of The Word for Kids. I'm Jaymie, and I'm guiding you through the books of 1st and 2nd Samuel in a series of 20 episodes. Last time, we learned about a mistake Saul made. The Lord told him to totally destroy the Amalekites, but instead, Saul brought back their king as well as some of the best of their flocks for a sacrifice. Samuel was greatly angered by this and confronted Saul. He reminded him that it is better to obey the Lord than to offer sacrifices. Saul admitted his sin and asked Samuel to go back with him. At first, Samuel did not agree to go, and when he turned away, Saul grabbed the edge of his robe and it tore. Samuel told Saul that in the same way, the Lord had torn the kingdom of Israel away from him and given it to someone better. Samuel did agree to go back with Saul, and they worshiped the Lord, but after that, Samuel never saw Saul again, although Samuel did mourn for Saul. And that's where our story left off last time. Are you ready for today's adventure? Let's go! So, as we just reviewed, Samuel was mourning for Saul. Yet in the next chapter, the Lord said to Samuel, "How long will you mourn for Saul, since I have rejected him as king over Israel? Fill your horn with oil and be on your way." This just means get ready to anoint a new king. The Lord said, "I am sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem. I have chosen one of his sons to be king." But Samuel said, "How can I go? If Saul hears about it, he will kill me." The Lord said, "Take a heifer, which is just a female cow, with you, and say, 'I have come to sacrifice to the Lord.' Invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you what to do. You are to anoint for me the one I indicate." This just means the Lord would tell him who to anoint as king. When Samuel arrived at Bethlehem, the elders of the town trembled when they met him. They asked, "Do you come in peace?" Samuel answered, "Yes, in peace. I have come to sacrifice to the Lord." He consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. When they arrived, Samuel saw Eliab and thought, "Surely the Lord's anointed stands here before the Lord." But the Lord said to him, "Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." Let's pause right there for today's Word of the Day.
Hey kids, Eugene the Turtle here with another Word of the Day. Today's word is heart. Now you might think of heart when you cut out a Valentine's Day card or the organ in your chest that pumps blood through your body. But when the Bible uses heart, it's talking about your character, as in your emotions and how you feel. Heart.
Jesse called Abinadab to pass before Samuel, but Samuel said, "The Lord has not chosen this one either." Next he had Shammah pass by, but Samuel said, "Nor has the Lord chosen this one." Jesse had 7 of his sons pass before Samuel, but Samuel said to him, "The Lord has not chosen these." So he asked Jesse, "Are these all the sons you have?" Jesse answered, "There is still the youngest. He is tending the sheep." Samuel told Jesse to send for him. Jesse sent for his youngest son and had him brought in. He was glowing with health and had a fine appearance and handsome features. Then the Lord said, "Rise and anoint him. This is the one." So Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brothers. And from that day on, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon David. Now the Spirit of the Lord had departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord tormented him. This means the Spirit made him suffer greatly in his mind. He couldn't be calm and have peace. Saul's attendant said to him, "See, an evil spirit from God is tormenting you. Command your servants to search for someone who can play the lyre." The lyre is a stringed instrument, kind of like a small harp. Saul's attendants told him that if someone played the lyre for him when the evil spirit from God comes on him, he would feel better. So Saul asked his attendants to find someone who played the lyre well. One of the servants answered, "I have seen a son of Jesse of Bethlehem who knows how to play the lyre. He is a brave man and a warrior. He speaks well and is a fine-looking man, and the Lord is with him." So Saul sent messengers to Jesse and said, "Send me your son David, who is with the sheep." So Jesse took a donkey loaded with bread, a skin of wine, and a young goat, and sent them with his son David to Saul. David came to Saul and entered in his service, and Saul liked him very much. and David became one of his armor bearers. Then Saul sent word to Jesse, asking him to allow David to remain in his service. And whenever the Spirit from God came on Saul, David would take up his lyre and play. Then relief would come to Saul, and he would feel better, and the evil spirit would leave him. And that's where our story ends for today. Now, it's time for the verse to remember. Today's verse is 1 Samuel 16:7b and c. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. One more time. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7b and c. We just learned about how the Lord chose David to be the new king. Did you notice it wasn't the sons Samuel or even Jesse, the boy's father, thought it should be, whom the Lord chose? It was the boy in the field tending the sheep that Jesse had not even thought about bringing in to be considered. Have you ever felt like you just didn't measure up to those around you? Like everyone else is better, smarter, or stronger than you are? Oftentimes, God chooses those who the world might see as the last choice because, as our memory verse reminded us, people look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. If you feel too weak, too scared, too small, or not smart enough to do big things for God, think again. Look at this story of David's humble beginning as a reminder that God often chooses the least likely person to do big jobs for him. That's all the time we have for this episode. I can't wait to see you again soon for another episode of The Word for Kids.